everyone, this is Shivangi and welcome back to our channel. Firstly, I truly hope that you all are keeping safe and staying at home. I know that everything is really scary right now outside, but the only way to keep ourselves and our family safe is to stay at home, guys. So I really hope that you're not moving out anywhere unless it's absolutely necessary and you're just taking care of yourself and your family. Now, since these are tricky times, it was very difficult for me to figure out what content to make, what makeup related content to make for you guys. Like, I wanted to do something which did not require me talking about products, like me talking a lot about products. So I just thought that since a lot of you request me for eyeshadow tutorials, I am going to show you how I do my half cut creases. Basically a detailed version of how I make my eyeshadows look seamless. I've spoken about all the hacks and everything, and also how to do the cut crease, like half cut crease, which I do for most of my videos. Now there is a little disclaimer, guys. I have recently removed my acrylic nails and I did it at home. That's why the condition of my nails is not all that good. Like, they are pretty damaged. Don't worry, they'll be fine once the new growth comes, but if you spot my damaged nail in the video, then please pardon me. This is the reason why it happened, okay? Also, since none of the websites are really working right now, they are only providing essentials, I won't be able to give you the links of each and every product, but I'm going to make a list and mention each and everything in the description box below. Once the lockdown is over, situation is better, and the websites start selling makeup products again, then I promise you I'm going to put all the links in the description box. Alright, that's all that I had to say. Now let's just begin the video. I'm using Nykaa's Just Wink It palette in Sweet Sundae for this particular look. First, you need to dip a small brush in the darkest shade of the palette. Ensure that you're dusting off the brush each time before you apply it, and apply it all over your crease. You need to move your brush in a circular motion. This way it gets packed nicely on the crease, plus it blends easily. You should always build darker shades slowly, otherwise the eyeshadow becomes patchy. Now once this is done, I'm going to take this shade from the palette, which is a shade lighter than the darkest shade, and start applying it on my crease again with the same brush. Use a very light hand to do this, guys. Like, you don't need to, press your brush really hard on your eyelid. Use a very light hand. You need to apply this shade as well in light circular motions. Now once this is done, we're going to change the brush. I'm taking a fluffy brush and I'm going to dip it in this shade of the palette, dust it off, and then just apply it all over the crease again, blending everything together in circular motions. Don't worry if it gets on your eyelid, because that doesn't really matter. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with it. You basically need to keep blending it until you get this smooth ombre effect. Now I'm going back to this previous smaller brush. I'm dipping it in the darkest shade again, and I'm going to apply it on the outer corners of my eyelid. The main trick here is to keep moving the brush in a circular motion, guys. Like, this really helps with blending. You see how smooth this looks? So this is the kind of result that we are always looking at whenever we are doing eyeshadows. At least me. Like, I have an OCD when it comes to eyeshadow blending. It has to be seamless and not patchy. Now I'm going to take the same brush and dip it in this dark pink shade on the palette and mix it with the darkest shade that we applied on the outer corner. Slowly build the color as you go. Also, at any point, there's no fixed rule, guys. Like, at any point you feel that the eyeshadow is becoming patchy, you can just grab the fluffy brush again and start swirling it on your crease. That's it. I think for now it's looking pretty smooth. Okay, now comes the difficult part, which is the cut crease. So for this you need a flat concealer brush like this. This is by PROARTE and it works pretty well for cut creases. To be honest, cut crease is something that you only get better at with practice. I'm also not perfect with it, but I'm going to show you the basics of how it is done. Now the first thing that I do is that I wet this brush with a bit of water and I press it with my fingers like this so that I get sharpness on the edge of the brush. Next, we'll take a bit of concealer. I'm using PAC Spotlight Concealer. I'll leave the shade name in the description box below. I'm going to take a bit of concealer on the back of my hand. Take a bit of concealer on the brush. Then first I apply it near my lash line and do this. When you apply it on the center of your eyelid near your lash line and do this, what we did just now, it gives you a basic idea of where your cut crease should end. Basically, it shouldn't go above this. It should always be under this line. Now you just have to pray to God and start cutting your crease as neatly as possible. It will take a bit of time if you're a beginner. Just take your time, do it with a lot of patience, okay? I think this is about okay. Now I'm just going to fill this up with the concealer. Be careful while you're filling this up, guys. You don't want to spoil this sharp edge that you've created on your crease. Okay, this is done. I'm not entirely happy with it, but for now, I think this is good enough. Next, I'm taking the same smaller brush, dipping it in the dark pink shade. I'm going to apply this near the center of my eyelid. I've not set the concealer, guys. Like, it's better if you keep it tacky since we are going to use a shimmery shade and they stick on better on a tacky base. With a very light hand, I'm building this dark pink shade up. Alright, now that this is done, I'm going to take a small concealer brush. This can be used as an eyeshadow brush as well. It's a small concealer brush. I'm going to dip it in this shimmery shade and start filling out the rest of my eyelid. Now, since the base is tacky, you can see that the shimmery shade is sticking on it better. You don't need a wet brush to do this, by the way. And also don't worry if your shimmery shade gets out of your cut crease a little bit. We're going to fix that later. Alright, once this is done, I'm going back to the dark pink shade with a smaller brush. And I'm just going to lightly blend the shimmery and the dark pink shade together at the center of my eyelid. Here you don't have to move the brush in circles. You just scratch your eyelid a little bit. I'm also dipping the same brush in the darkest shade again, and I'm going to deepen the outer corner. That's it. Moving on to the next step now. We're almost done, by the way. Okay, now you need this step if you mess up your cut crease or if your shimmery shade gets out of your cut crease zone. You basically need an eyeliner brush or a really sharp angular brush. Dip it in the second darkest, not the darkest shade. Basically this shade which I applied after the darkest shade on my crease, and start applying it neatly above your cut crease like this. We're basically trying to make it as neat as possible with this step. Use a very light hand to do this also, guys, because it's very easy to, mess everything up here. My cut crease is not nearly as perfect as it should have been, but it's okay. I think it's decent enough. This is a good way to fix any cut crease mishaps. So you can see what I did was I took the shade on the brush and then I was flicking it out like this. And that's it, the eyelid is done. Now for the lower lash line, I'm first going to take the dark pink shade, apply it halfway through my lower lash line. If you're going for a softer look, then it's better to apply any shade on your lower lash line just halfway through. Don't take it all the way through unless you're doing a smoky eye. After I've applied the dark pink shade, I'm going to dip the same brush in the darkest brown shade and just mix the two together. Now here again, you don't have to move your brush in circles, otherwise it will get all over your cheek. You just have to lightly scratch it. And that's it. The eyeshadow is done. Now we're going to highlight the inner corner and the brow bone. To highlight your inner corner and your brow bone, you need a small but densely packed brush. I usually highlight these two with my highlighter. Whichever highlighter I'm using, I just use that to highlight the inner corner and the brow bone. I use NYX's Born to Glow palette for my face today. I basically use this shade. So I'm going to dip the brush in this shade, dust it off a little bit, and just lightly apply it in the inner corner of my eyelid. Just be careful and don't get the brush on top of your eyelid or on top of your crease. Focus on just this area. And same for the brow bone as well. I start applying the highlighter basically where this curve is, and I just lightly apply the highlighter there. Again, here as well, be careful of not bringing the brush too close to your crease. Otherwise, it will spoil all the transition and the ombre effect that you've created on your crease. Just focus on the empty area. And that's it, guys. This is pretty much it. This is how I create any cut crease look, any half cut crease look. Now, I'm just going to apply some mascara, pop on some lashes, and I'll be done with the eye look. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the zoomed out look of the final result. That's it, we're done. So this is how I do my half cut crease looks, guys, and also I keep practicing cut creases. It is something which requires a lot of precision and a steady hand as well. I know the process is a little complicated, but I honestly tried my best to explain it to you in the easiest way possible. If you really like cut creases, then keep practicing, guys. That's the only way to get better at it. I have good cut crease days and bad cut crease days. I think today was an average cut crease day. Like, I'm not entirely happy with it, I'll be completely honest, but then I have a bit of an OCD when it comes to these things. Anywho, I truly hope that you enjoyed watching this video, guys. If you don't follow me on Instagram, then ensure that you do. I keep posting a lot of makeup related updates, and I've recently started painting my face and stuff, so a lot of my face painting posts go up on Instagram. Also, if you do like this video, then make sure that you leave it a like, and if you have not subscribed to our channel already, then please subscribe to our channel. We're trying to do different things on our channel, and it would mean so much if you would just hit that red button and stay tuned to our content. On that note, I'm gonna sign off for now. Stay safe, guys. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Mwah.